So let's get going. I'm Emily, and you are watching Coffee Chat. This is a little show that we do just to talk about maybe some of the things that if we were having coffee face-to-face, these are some of the things that we would talk about. These actually are things that I talk about with my real life friends. I have a coffee date with a friend on Thursday, and I'm sure we will discuss many things as women seem to do. We kind of go all over the place, but I'm glad you're here. This is kind of a live thing. So if you are just taking a break from your day, thank you for being here. If you have kiddos with you, hello kiddos. I'm glad to see you. I kind of miss the days of having, well, a half and half. I half miss the days of having little ones around because it just was a sweet time. And then I also really love that they're all in school, so I can do something like this. Anyway, on Instagram yesterday, I posted just like these were, and someone chimed in with a thought, and she said, is it okay that I have a housekeeper even though I'm a stay-at-home mom? That was just something that she was pondering. And it made me think, like, is it okay to have a house cleaner when you are a stay-at-home mom? I mean, yes, of course it is, but isn't it funny how we struggle with that as women? Like, okay, my job is supposed to be cleaning the house. I'm home all day, so of course I should be able to get this done, and yet I hired a house cleaner. The funny thing is that I have two sisters. I'm the middle, so my older sister and my younger sister, and oh wait, sorry. I've got a phone call coming. I don't want that. Sorry, I should turn that off. Sorry. Anyway, my older sister and my younger sister and myself all had house cleaners. We don't actually have a house cleaner right now, although I'm really missing it. But they both work just kind of part-time, and so maybe that's a little bit different. But my mom is always like, what did I do wrong? Why are my girls not able to clean their own homes? But I just think there's something really, really nice about having someone come in, and not necessarily, I mean, sure, if someone could come in every day, that would be a dream. But for me, when we had a house cleaner at our old house, she came every other week. And I feel like she just came and whipped me into shape. Like, it got the house all tidy so that then she could come and clean everything and deep clean. And it took her, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 hours. And I just don't really have 3, 4, or 5 hours that I want to spend on cleaning the house. So I don't know. I would love to know, are you guys pro house cleaner? If you work, are you pro house cleaner? If you don't work, are you pro house cleaner? That's something that you can put in the little comments. Just type in there what do you think about having a house cleaner. I mean, I think it's kind of great. I'm on the pro board, but I'm curious to know what everyone else thinks. The next thing is that last week I talked about an app that I had installed on my phone called Moment, and it was just a way for me to monitor my phone use, how often I was opening it, how long I was spending on it. And after I got off Coffee Chat, I think that night I deleted the app because it was just kind of stressing me out. Like, I know that I don't want to have my phone with me at all times. I don't want to touch it a million times, but sometimes it made me feel like I couldn't pick up my phone because then I would like have it, you know, notify me that I just have used it too much. And sometimes you use your phone because someone texted you, or you're you know, Googling something or something. So I deleted that app. But what I did do is I listened to a podcast from Emily Freeman. It's called The Next Right Thing. I love her podcast. I talk about it all the time. But last week's episode was just about ignoring the right things. And one of the things she suggested was turning off your notifications on your phone. So I did. I turned off notifications of Gmail, which is where all my email come from, and notifications from Instagram. Now, I never had Instagram, like if someone followed me, I didn't have that on there, but I did have the comments just so that I felt like I wouldn't miss it. But what I found in the last couple of days is that by not having anything pop up on my screen, like my screen is just dark unless I get a text message, it's really stopped me from being distracted from my phone. So if I kind of carry it around with me all the time, it's like my little baby or something, but I'll put it on the desk. And if I see that there's a notification, I'm going to open that up right that second. So it's been really helpful for me to just have, I don't really have like a schedule. It's not like at 11 o'clock, I check my email, and at noon, I check Instagram. I just am not checking it all day, every day, over and over and over again. I told Ryan, it was weird the first day or two. I felt a little lonely, like, why doesn't anyone need me? Why isn't anyone talking to me? And I realized, okay, that's maybe not healthy if I'm like looking to email and Instagram comments to keep me entertained in my life. Like maybe I need to do something else. I read a whole book last week, and I feel like part of it is because I just wasn't staring at my phone, spending time on there all the time. Anyway, the book that I read was really good. It's called Calling Me Home. I think I talked about that last week too. And it kind of takes place like in 1940 and current day. And it's this woman who was white living in Kentucky who fell in love with a black man, and this kind of beautiful love story, and yet so heartbreaking because they weren't able to get married. It was illegal at that time. And then even if it was legal, it was so against just kind of her culture and just the times during that time. Anyway, it was a beautiful story. It has a great little twist at the end that you just don't really see coming. And I highly recommend it. It was really good, called Calling Me Home. Okay, I'm gonna pop over to the side real quick and see what people are saying. Let's see. There are some pro house cleaners. Pro would love to have one for deep cleaning, for sure. I don't have kids, so I don't have my time going there. So cleaning is easier for me, but I see the benefit. Gets you a clean house and gives you the time to do other things, to spend more time with your family. Tatiana, I agree. We had a house cleaner, going back to this, our house cleaner, I feel like she came in and she brought this like beautiful joy with her, and she bossed me around in the best way possible. She's like, Emily, you've got to get your cabinets cleaned, so I'm going to take care of that for you. And so I think I just need like a house manager to like tell me what to do. And so I really miss having our cleaner. We got to get another one. Okay, the next thing I wanted to tell you about is, oh, I forgot to grab the other thing. I haven't traditionally been super into scents. So candles and perfume, they've always kind of given me a headache, or at least I thought that they gave me a headache. And I think it was maybe because, you know, I don't know if this was your experience, but in high school, I feel like all of my girlfriends wore vanilla scented perfume and burned vanilla candles, and it just made me sick. Like it gave me a headache all the time. And so I think I just always steered clear of it, except for Gap had a perfume called Gap Heaven. They might still have it. In fact, I think they do still have it. And I actually have some in my bathroom. So if I ever wear perfume, it's Gap Heaven. Now, that's embarrassing because I bought my first bottle of Gap Heaven perfume when I was in 8th grade, and now I have a kid who's in 8th grade. So I feel like it's time for me to grow up and maybe wear some perfume that's not from the Gap. Just not. Or even if it's not from the Gap, mostly that it's something other than what I wore when I was 13 years old. So I ordered one of my favorite candles now that I'm not quite as opposed to scents, because now that I've like smelled some other things, I realize, okay, maybe vanilla or cranberry kind of made me sick. Like the smell makes me sick, but there are other like candles and perfumes that do smell good. So Tocca has a candle called Florence. I bought this, I think the first time I bought it was when I was in Florida. And so part of it just reminds me of like this really fun trip in Seaside, Florida. But I actually really love the way it smells. And can you tell it's almost burnt out? So this is just my little guy I keep up here in my office, and I burn it every once in a while. I love the smell. So I just found out that Tocca does perfume. I mean, they probably have done it forever, but I had no idea. So I ordered some, and I just found mine on Amazon. I just ordered a little sample. So it's just a little teeny one. I think it was like $20-ish, $25, which maybe is a little bit of an investment when you've never smelled it before, but big bummer. I meant to buy the Florence scent, and what I actually ordered was the Bianca scent. Although this one actually, it does smell really good. It is, what do they say? I think it's like orange and yeah, mandarin and fresh green tea, and it's a little bit musky, but I think the bottle's really cute, if I could get out of here. And I feel like maybe it's okay for me to have a couple of different scents. So I am going to order the Florence one because I really love it. But it's a cute little bottle. It wasn't very expensive. Like I think I would be bummed if it was expensive perfume that I couldn't return. But this one for like $20, $25. Anyway, perfume. Do you all wear perfume? And do you have something that you love? I don't really want super smelly, but if you have a recommendation for a perfume that you think is like kind of light, I do love this Florence one. So I'm going to try to find this, but if you have any suggestions for other perfume, I'd love to hear, and you can put it over there in that little sidebar. Okay, I did, something caught my eye over here that someone said that they just started Delicious, and then someone else was like, what is Delicious? Okay, Delicious is probably my favorite book from 2017. Actually, it is my favorite book from 2017. And it's kind of a food, World War II, a little bit historical. It's so charming. I loved the characters. I think the cover is really pretty, and it was really cute. So if you're looking for a book, I did love Calling Me Home. That one was good. But my favorite from last year was Delicious by Ruth, I don't remember, Rachel? I don't know if that's how you say your last name. Anyway, it's really good. Okay, another thing is I got a new phone case. I know I've written a blog post about my phone cases before, and I use a wallet case. So I've made a case for why wallet case is so amazing. All I do is just like grab my phone and my keys and I'm out the door and I don't need a whole bag. So I do love that. But I got a new phone finally and I needed a new case. So I ordered this one. It's still a wallet case, brown leather, kind of boring, but it has it removes this thing. So now when I'm in the car, this is a magnet. So there's this little thing that we plug into our vent. And so now I can just stick my phone right there. That way, if I'm like, I use Waze when I'm driving a lot. So I can just have like my GPS thing right there and then I'm not looking down at my phone. And it's super helpful. The only bummer is that I probably prefer to use my phone just plain like this. And so I leave this piece with my wallet, like the most important part. I leave this around the house all the time and I can never find it. So that's the only bummer about having a detachable phone case, but I still would say I really love it. And it just kind of flips right back in there. It's magnet. The only other thing about it that I don't love is that I can only fit 3 cards. And I never have cash, but you can't really fit a whole lot of cash in there. So if you carry a lot of cards, I no longer keep my Target card in here. And Ryan is really happy about that because it means when I am out and about and I'm like, oh, I should run to Target, that stops me from going in because I don't actually have my Target like red card where I get a discount. Anyway, so great little phone case. I will link to it. So tomorrow, or if you're watching this on Wednesday, I will put this on the blog and then all of the links for things that I talk about, I'll stick all in there. So I know sometimes that's really helpful so that you don't have to like jot things down, but it will be on the blog when you're ready. Okay, one last thing, and then we can get to Q&A, is that I was just invited and I'm super excited. My friend Jamie Ivey just came out with a book. When does it release? I don't know when it releases, but I'm really excited about it. I think she's wonderful. She has a great story and I'm excited to read her book, but she's doing a book tour and she's going to all different cities and locations. And just last night she texted and said, or actually it was an email. She said, would you come and be a little guest, like come chat for, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. And so I will be there. It's in Seattle on March 3rd. It's a Tuesday. I hope I have that right. I'm pretty sure it is. It is the Tuesday and I'm pretty sure it's March 3rd. Hold on. Let's see, March 6th. March 6th, not March 3rd. March 3rd is Audrey's birthday party at the gymnastics place. Not that. March 6th, Tuesday. I will again link to that. But if you love Jamie Ivey, you get a book and you get appetizers and then she's going to chat. I don't really know what the program is. And I'll be there. And I think my sister will come. Maybe my older sister will come too. I'll bring a friend. So I'd love to see you there. But also I just would love to show our support for Jamie. It takes a lot to write a book. And I'm sure it will be a great one. So I'd love to see you there. March 6th in Seattle. I will give the link. Anyway, those are my topics. Hey, I'm going to go get my haircut later this afternoon. And I was realizing that the last time I had a haircut was last March. It's almost been a year. It is time. So cut and color. So by tonight, I will be a new me. I hope that you guys have a great week. And let's get to Q&A. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Ryan's on and he's putting links. So there's the link to the Delicious book over there in the sidebar if you're curious. And I love that you guys are putting some of your scents that you love. Kate Spade. Okay, perfect. I'm going to go check those out. And yay, Emmy, you're going to Jamie Ivey's Nashville book tour. That'll be fun. I'm excited to hear all about how it goes. Okay, so let's get to questions. Question number 1, what do you like to do with photos, either with iPhone or taken on your professional camera? Do you make books or store them and ignore them? That's from Kathy. Kathy, I wish I had a really great organized answer for you. I have currently on my phone, I have, doesn't it tell you how many phone pictures you have on there? I don't know. I have probably 3,000 pictures on my phone, and every picture from our road trip, which was almost 2 years ago, is still on there. But I kind of like it because I like to be able to scroll through and just remember and look at them. But I have way too many pictures on my phone. So I know my phone is automatically backed up from iCloud, so they're all somewhere, but I have done nothing with them. So I am not the girl to talk to. In fact, I am so not the girl to talk to because it has been on my list for so many years. We have a bunch of pictures printed from when Ethan was born. He was born in 2002, 3, or 4. He was born in 2004. And then Brady was born in 2005. And I have almost 0 pictures printed of him because everything was digital. So when Ethan was born, it was still, I think we still had film cameras. I'm pretty sure. Actually, we for sure did because there were some from the delivery that were questionable, and I wish that they didn't ever exist. But by the time Brady came along, we had digital cameras, and so they all just kind of went into a folder on the computer. So I have printed nothing. It has been a long time goal and dream of mine to have yearly family books. I have a friend who does it probably on like Snapfish or something like that. And every year she just puts her yearly things in there and then writes little messages about what they did. And I think that would be so fun to just kind of have a yearbook of our family. Or if nothing else, maybe just pictures individually of the kids or something. So the only book that we've done is a road trip book. Ryan used Artifact Uprising, which is a really great company. I love the quality of it. And then we have done a few chat books, and those just pull from Instagram. So if you take a lot of pictures, especially of your family over vacation or something, I think chat books is a really great way to do that. For me, my Instagram account is so much of like just pretty spaces around our house that I don't know that those need to be chat books. If it was more just our family, I think I would probably order those. So I store and ignore them, Kathy, and I wish I didn't. If you guys have any suggestions, I would love, I mean, really, I feel like there needs to be, I'm sure there's a service out there that could come and organize all your photos and like go through all of the best ones and put them in a book. I feel like I would probably hire that because I don't know how I'm ever going to get it done. Anyway, okay, Madeline, that's one of my favorite names, and I don't care how you say it, Madeline or Madeline, I love it. Anyway, she says she syncs all her photos to Dropbox, and she gets a Groove book printed. I've never heard of Groove book, but now that I have 2 kids, I just got 8 books printed to catch up through Christmas. Good job, Madeline. I will look up Groove book. I've never heard of it, but it's probably, I would guess, similar to like Snapfish or chat books. Okay, next question. Did you do a lot of prep on your wood trim and cabinets before painting? Deborah, no, we did not. So our thing about our house is that it feels like these aren't necessarily things that we're planning on keeping for the long term. And so we didn't worry so much about doing it perfectly. So the trim, like our baseboard trim all downstairs, we painted in the iron ore, really dark charcoal color, excuse me. And the same thing with our window trim. So I gave it a light sanding and then didn't even do primer or anything. I just painted, I think maybe 2 coats, possibly, it was probably about 2 coats of latex paint. And I bought decent quality paint, which covered really well. So no, we did not do a lot of prep work. And mostly because our plan is to take all of that down at some point. And then, I don't know, can you see the window trim that's up here? So we actually did replace all the trim up in the studio and then on the 2nd and 3rd floor of our house. And so all of that is just flat, white, bigger baseboard. So that's what we will eventually do downstairs when we replace our floors. But in the meantime, we decided to kind of get rid of the kind of orangey oak color. So we just painted over it. And I don't know how long that will be. I mean, I think we had in mind it would be like a year or 2, but it might be longer. So it's lasting just fine. There's a few little chip marks, like where I run the vacuum in the kitchen, it kind of like scrapes the baseboard a little bit. So I've had to touch it up once or twice in the last year and a half. But otherwise, we haven't done a lot. So I would say if you are planning on keeping your cabinets and your trim painted for the long term, I would do a little more prep work. So definitely sand it and probably do a primer and then a couple coats of paint. On our stair rail, I did that and the kids have kind of like chipped the paint off. So that looks pretty scratchy. But otherwise, we just weren't super worried about having it look perfect. I hope that answers your question, Deborah. Thank you for asking. Next question. Faith says, any advice for ways to make friends when moving to a new city? Such a good question. In our move, I had a girlfriend who we went to college together. So Scott and Erica, they lived here in Gig Harbor. And so we already knew them. We've been friends for a long time. They were actually in our wedding, but we probably only saw them maybe once or twice a year while we lived elsewhere for 10 years. So when we came into town, it was really helpful to at least have one person that I could be friends with. And then it worked out well because she's darling and wonderful, and she has a bunch of friends, and all of her friends were really sweet to kind of take me in. So my experience of making friends in a new city is probably skewed because I already had one friend that lived here who is a really wonderful friend. But I also feel really proud of myself because I've made some of my own friends, not just kind of mooching off of Erica's friends. And I think a huge part of that is getting involved in things. So I volunteer to teach art in the kids' classrooms in the elementary school. And so I think on our first training night, there was a gal who was sitting across from me, and we just kind of struck up a conversation and connected a little bit. And I would say she's one of my really good friends that lives here now in the same town as us. And our kids have kind of become friends. Actually, they've really become friends. And so I think it helps that because we were both involved in something, it gave us something to connect on. And then, of course, it helps to have kids that are on the same football team or go to school together or want to have play dates. And so you can kind of connect that way. So I think it's probably harder to make friends when you've got really little kids and you kind of feel like you're stuck at home all day and you're doing nap time. But even then, I think it's important to get outside and go to the park or go to library story time. Or if you go to a church, be involved in a women's Bible study. And it takes some stepping out. You have to be a little bit courageous to go up to someone and be like, I don't know anyone, let's be friends, or can I sit by you, or strike up a conversation somehow. When we moved to our old town, I had Ethan, who was 1.5 and then a newborn, and one of the girls at church, she came up to me and said oh, you're new here and I'm pretty new here and I don't have any friends. Do you want to be friends? And she really became one of my very good friends in the old neighborhood. And so I think that was just because she was very brave and she wasn't weird. I mean, it wasn't weird. It just was really nice of her to introduce herself. So my advice for making friends in a new city is get involved in a few things and then just kind of get outside of your comfort zone and introduce yourself and try to find some commonalities that you can do. Sometimes it's a little awkward to be like, hey, you're new and I'm new. Do you want to go have coffee? Because it feels like, ooh, now we have to hopefully we connect. But if you're in some sort of group or you're volunteering or you're doing something with your kids, it seems like that's a good way to kind of ease into a friendship. So Faith, it sounds like maybe you are moving to a new city and you're nervous about it. And I hope that you are encouraged. There will be people. There are good people everywhere you can go. You just have to maybe put yourself in a situation and in a position where those people will be hanging out that you can meet. So you can do it. You'll make some friends. Okay, Carrie says, I love the hangers you did. Did you put a sealer on the paint afterwards? I did not because I did not have one at home and I was just doing it this weekend, but I think you should. I think it would probably be fine, but I feel like maybe possibly it would scratch off. So I just need to order the spray, acrylic clear spray and just give it a really light coat of that. You could possibly even do, I don't know, would clear Mod Podge work? That might even work too. But I think for long lasting, I think it might be nice to seal it. So did you guys like that project? I thought it was fun. I did it so long ago. I mean, I can't even remember how long ago it was. And so it was fun to do it again. And my cousin was really sweet. She said she read the blog and got teary because I had made them for her new baby. Okay, last question, unless you guys want to pipe in and ask something else, but I think this is the last one. How do you decide what to share on your blog? I want to begin posting to my blog more regularly, but want to try to include content that is relevant. Elise, that's a great question. Okay, let me think. I think there's going to be a few things. First of all, do you have a niche that you are writing about? So that will be that will be a big part of it, is that if you are in the cooking space, then you're probably going to want to stay pretty like in the cooking zone. So that means you're going to have to come up with content that will be relevant to people who are looking for other cooking topics. For me, I write about everything. and I truly think that it is, I love that for me. It's the right choice for me, but I think it makes it harder because when I'm talking to someone, you never know what I'm going to talk about. And so I'm not finding like people who are super interested in home design. I might also find people who are interested in how to make these painted hangers for a baby, or what books to read, or cute earrings that I just found. So I love that for me because I am kind of all over the place in my interests and what I like to talk about. But I think it does make it harder as you're starting out blogging to find readers who will kind of come with you on that journey. So as far as choosing topics, I'll just go off of my own experience. I would say that I like to kind of rotate through like a home decorating thing, maybe a more thoughtful thing that I kind of share a little bit more personally about who I am and what I'm thinking about. Maybe some sort of like shopping roundup or a good resource for like, you know, cute lamps or something. So I'll kind of round up things about that. Maybe something seasonal, and then maybe like beauty or fashion. And so I try to kind of hit all of the categories that I like to talk about and kind of spread out those posts so that you're not just getting post after post after post from me, at least, about cute clothes that I just got. So I like to kind of round it out a little bit. Definitely my blog in the last year or year and a half has leaned heavily on home stuff just because that's what we're doing. I haven't been doing a lot of crafts because we've been doing a lot of house updates. But I can tell that now we're sort of at a stopping point. There's not a lot of projects left to do in the house. And so it's forcing me to be a little bit more creative with content and think about what I want to share and what I want to talk about. And I love that you all just come along for the ride and listen to all the random things I have to talk about. But it's fun. So for you, as you're posting more regularly, I think maybe just brainstorm like every topic you can think of that sounds interesting for you to write about, and then figure out which ones would actually be great blog posts. And then also, while I don't think that you should go copy another blogger, if there's someone that you see who's doing it well and doing it how you would like to have your blog be eventually, I think it's okay for you to kind of study what they're doing and what kind of content is resonating with their readers. If those are similar readers to who you want, I think it's good to kind of put out content that's original to you, but maybe it's helpful to see kind of what other people are doing. So hopefully that helps, Elise. Congratulations on working on a blog. It's fun. And then Katie replied back, have you and Ryan changed how you work on your marriage since you've started working together full time? Have you changed how you work on your marriage? Okay. So Ryan was a firefighter for 12 years before he retired from that and went full-time working together. However, I feel like that's maybe a little misleading because he was always working with me. It's just that now there's a lot more writing on it, I guess. So I don't know that it has changed a ton the dynamics of the two of us because he's kind of always been in the background. He's kind of always been the driving force in marketing and in tactics. And it just maybe is elevated a little bit more. I would say this year, just to be very honest, has been really difficult, not even so much for our marriage, but for me personally, and maybe a little bit for Ryan personally, but mostly for me personally, because now that 100% of our family is dependent on the blog, it really takes it from just being a fun hobby where I get to like pop in and say hi whenever I feel like it into something that there's much more pressure for me to make sure that I'm doing all the right things. And so it's been this tension this last year, or probably in 2017, so not 2018, because hallelujah, we're in a new year, but in 2017, there was a lot of pressure and conversations, and it was really difficult for me to somehow find a balance between the heart of why I love blogging, which is connecting with other readers and sharing my life and loving that as I share my life, other people kind of find success or beauty or like they're not alone. I love doing that, like using my life to help other people feel like they're not alone. Like we're all in this together. And here's either some creative, like silly things that you can do in your life to make you really happy, or here's something really deep that you maybe didn't have the words for it, but I was able to articulate that. I love that. I love that connection. That's really, besides just the creative part of styling a space and taking pictures, which I also really enjoy, it's the kind of connection and the impact that is just crazy that I can make that online. So I love that part. So what happens when you are running a business and you are supporting your family and you have 4 kids and you have to pay a mortgage and eventually put your kids through school is that you have to be a little strategic about what you're doing business-wise. And so Ryan has always been more of the marketing business strategy, and I've always been more of the like creative, whatever feels fun to me. And so putting those two things together has been, we've had plenty of clashes, and it's maybe not even so much about our marriage as it is just about our business partnership. And of course, I'm a female who takes things personally. So business and my personal life are really wrapped up together. And Ryan does a little bit of a better job of not having it kind of bleed into our marriage. But for the most part, I think that we've just worked really hard this year. We talk a lot. We have really, I think we have really, I mean, we have some communication issues for sure, because we don't always see eye to eye or be able to express ourselves eye to eye. But I feel like we are just very committed to talking about things, and we talk a lot. And our friends probably get sick of the amount of times we're talking. But I think that that's been really good for us. And then I know I talked about this last week, but the Enneagram and other personality tests, so Strength Finders, there's another one called Colby. We've done a bit of this. And it's really helped us to know that when a new idea comes my way, for example, and Ryan is all about new ideas all the time. He always has some new, usually they're really great ideas. So he's very quick start. I've gotten a great idea. Let's do it. And for me, when I receive that information, I'm thinking through everything. I'm like fact finding. What's that going to take? Am I capable of it? I'm much more like reserved than he is when there's a new idea. And so I think that it's been really helpful for us to say, okay, that doesn't mean that that's bad. That's just, we do new ideas differently. And so we need to respect that time that it might take for me to kind of process. And Ryan needs to not just see that as me shooting down an idea. He needs to see that as me processing. And I need to not be annoyed at him for having a new idea all the time. I need to say like, no, that's one of the really amazing things about him, is that he's full of ideas and he's so entrepreneurial, and just kind of honor that in each other. So that has kind of been in the last year and a half since we've really been working full time. I think we've been working on just kind of appreciating and allowing each other to have different gifts and figuring out how those two things fit together. And it's been, it's been hard, but I also feel like it's really beneficial. And I love working with him. I love that we're both at home and we have a life where we can just be together and work on things. So I feel really grateful for the opportunity, and hopefully we can keep this thing afloat and I don't know, and keep connecting and keep that heart, but then also know that we are running a business, and this is kind of how we support our family and what we're doing with our gifts and talents. And so I want that to be well received. So we're always shifting and making decisions, hopefully good decisions. Okay, Deborah wants to know, how do you earn an income through a blog? Great question. There are many ways. One of the more traditional ways is through, or maybe what used to be the really traditional ways was through advertising. So, and I guess there still are a lot of bloggers who are doing advertising. I just know that you don't make quite as much money as you used to. So you'll see banner ads or those sidebar ads or kind of some pop-up things. So those you use an ad agency, and they will put content on your blog so that when readers come and the amount of impressions that you get, how many times someone's coming and looking at your site, you'll get paid a little small percentage. So that's one way, is through advertising. The second way would be through affiliate links. So As far as advertising goes, that's not something that we've chosen to do on our blog. We are definitely leaving money on the table from it, but I have always felt really strongly that when someone comes to visit the blog, I want it to feel as clean and aesthetically pleasing and non-confusing as possible. And so we've just said, nope, that's not how we're going to do this. I really don't have an issue with other bloggers putting ads on their site because I know it's a lot of work to put content out all the time and it costs money to run a blog. And so if that is a way that you can monetize your blog, then I totally get it. However, as a reader, I find those ads super distracting and I don't love it, but that's just my own personal opinion. Okay, the second way is through affiliate links. So if I put a link to, say, a book from Amazon, I'm going to use a special link that has my kind of code wrapped up in that link. And so when you make a purchase, I make a percentage of the sale. And so I wish I knew, Ryan, if you're on there, I think it might be like 3% from Amazon. So if you buy something for $100, I'll get $3 of that sale because I sent you to that site. So that's affiliate revenue, and there's lots of different ways. So you've probably seen like reward style. So a lot of fashion bloggers, and I have a reward style account. So if I link to a sweater from the Loft, I'll use my special code. So if you buy that, then I get a small percentage. It's not a ton, but it's a really great way to kind of wrap up what you're already giving out as content and allowing you to earn an income from that. So that's affiliate. There's also some larger companies that offer higher affiliate things. So if you promote a class, you might make like 50% of the class tuition as an affiliate of this class. So as someone who's putting out content or offering a product, it's really helpful to have hundreds of bloggers who are promoting your stuff. And yes, you do have to pay them a commission of it, but all of those bloggers are now promoting your product. So that's affiliate marketing. And then another one would be sponsored posts. So a company will pay you a certain amount for talking about their product. So, it's not necessarily an affiliate thing. So it's not based on how many clicks you get and how many purchases you get. It's more based on just how many people are you putting this message in front of? So you're going to get paid a flat fee. So you'll get paid like $500 to do a blog post about Cheerios, or, I'm sure you've seen those kind of sponsored posts. I've done them a few times. I don't do a ton of them. And at the same time, I feel like if it's a company that I really love, I feel very happy to promote them and earn an income on that blog post for telling you all about the thing that I really love. So that's another way, sponsored content. And then the way that we've mostly monetized the blog is through creating our own products. And so, of course, it's more work and it's running businesses. So for us, we have classes. So I teach a couple of online classes. I'm creating some new ones. So maybe next week, I'll do a little poll and find out like what classes you would be interested in. But one of them I'm creating is a watercolor class. So it's an online class that you can join, and that one's great because I create it one time and then people can come and purchase it for as long as it's still relevant. So online classes. Another way that we monetize is through a subscription. So we have a company called Paperworks. So every month you get a new set of designs, you get access to this whole gallery of all the past designs, and it's $19 a month. And so that's like recurring revenue. So a subscription is a really great way to monetize a blog. And then the last one would be e-commerce. So if you are selling jewelry, or for me, I was selling art prints for a long time. We had a little online shop last year. And so that's taking your blog readers and directing them to your shop. So hopefully that's a lot of words, but those are the ways that you monetize a blog. I feel like people are still super confused. Like, you write a blog, how do you make money? And for us, we've just gone a little bit more the route of creating our own products. And that has been really successful for us. A huge part of that is because Ryan is behind me, just motivating me and helping me see that that would be a potential. So those are the ways to monetize blog. I hope that that answered your question, Deborah. If you are just starting out, I think that there are many ways that you can start to earn an income. It's going to be a small amount. So a lot of times when you're earning an income, if you have a list of 100,000 people, you can expect that like 1% are going to purchase something. And so I think maybe the misleading part, what happens is that you think that, oh, there's a lot of bloggers who are making a ton of money and no one really knows. I don't know. I don't feel like bloggers are talking about how much money they're making. So I have no idea how much people make, but it also, it's a lot of effort to make ad revenue and to make affiliate revenue. And it's definitely worth it, but you do have to kind of build that up. So it takes a little while, but I mean, that sounds like I'm not encouraging you to do it. I am. I'm just saying it's not like a get rich quick thing. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of regular content being sent out. Oh my goodness, that was a lot of talking. I hope that that answered all of your questions. If you have anything else that you want to talk about, you can pop in there on that question and answer. But otherwise, we will chat next week at the same time, 11 o'clock on Tuesday. And I will put this blog or this video up on the blog tomorrow with all of the answers to the questions, all the links of everything. So if you think of anything that you want to talk about for next week's, you can always send me an email. I'm at Emily@Jones Design Company, and I would love to chat with you. Thanks again, you guys, for joining. Have a great rest of your day.